Well, here we go. We went into the city last weekend on the ZX6R, the little Kawasaki. Here we are. Find a spot. But today we're heading out of the city on the TLR to test out to see if I fix the oil leak and to check out the quick shifter again. So here we go with the quick shifter. Now I'm in GP shift on this as well, which means I got to, when I change up through the gears, you know, second, third, fourth, I push down on the lever and it worked. I just changed then. It works on compression only. If I just change again and I'll change again. So it's shifting good, and I'm not backing off the throttle. I'm keeping a constant throttle or accelerating. You can't do it. You can miss a shift if you back off the throttle and change up. So this is it, see, so on a constant throttle, 5 grand, press down on the lever and it goes straight in. It's nice. So it's working. Now the other thing that I've done is change the oil seal on the push rod, actuating and push rod for the clutch. As far as I can determine, I hope I changed the right seal. But at the moment we'll get the engine warm and we'll see if it leaks anymore. Look, I'd like a gear indicator on this because I don't like when you down change on this, sometimes you go, whoa, I've down changed too many times, and I want to, it's kind of there's a gap in the ratios that are a bit wide. That's really nice there. The front brakes don't do very much until you warm them up, I find. I have to change the pads. I am going to change the master cylinder. That will be the next step actually. What we'll do, if I got everything sorted out now with the oil leak and the quick shifter, the next thing will be the master cylinder and reservoir, of course. So we'll change that, change the brake lines as well at the same time, but I'm going to keep the calipers on the bottom there and maybe just change the pads after that. So I want to just do it by step to see if I can get some sort of results. If you just go and spend $1 million and just change it all, well, then you can say, well, what was wrong with it? I don't know what was wrong with it, I just changed everything. So just step by step. Water temperature is okay, 81 to 84 sort of thing. It sort of floats around there. I had to put the bike on the battery charger because it was sat for a couple of weeks, and I've noticed that this battery, it's not the strongest in cranking amps. She just turns the engine over and it doesn't fire, it just slowly cranks. So far so good. Shift rod, you can see the worn out, how that is worn out there. 73,000 k's and the bush is gone. But we haven't got anything dripping on the ground. That's the main thing, nothing dripping on the ground. Have a little run. Bouncing or moving, it's got to. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll give you my impressions, ride thoughts of the ZX6R and the TLR. My name's Kevin, KJ's Moto, and if you find my videos of interest or of help to you, give it a like and subscribe. It's free to subscribe, of course, but it helps my channel a lot to grow. Thanks guys, let's get into it. Perth Hills, little dams. I think they actually call this one Mundaring Weir more than a dam. Don't know the technicalities of dams to weirs. Wasn't too bad there. These stutter bumps through here, look at all that. But it didn't kick or anything. This is rough. Really rough there. Wasn't too bad. So first thing is the quick shifter. Now there's the heel tech sensor and it runs up there, behind the fairing for all the modules. Now this sensor, this has been a little bit of a tricky thing. It's not like the normal ones where they have an inline sensor that you make new shift rod and you put the sensor inline. It's got this style. Now this style relies on compression. It's in the manual, the installation manual of installing it. Now I am using GP shift just to confuse everybody, well me, but what I do now, it's reversed. The arm down there is reversed, so when you shift up the gears, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, you push down. Now when you want the kill of the quick shifter, the sensor has to be in compression. So in that action there, it's being actually compressed. Now to make sure that I was doing everything correct, I did try it up there on the shift rod, but the thread is not long enough to allow for that thickness of the sensor to go in there with enough thread to then safely go into the knuckle there. So I had to run a die up the shift rod to cut some more thread so that I could have the sensor in line, which was the same problem. If that arm was in the down position for the normal shifting pattern of 1 down, 5 up, the sensor goes in line on the shift rod, but there wasn't enough thread, so I've run more thread up there, and I tried it in the reverse shift setup and it didn't work because it is pulling tension, right? I'll show you. See, it's pulling the arm that way and it won't work. It'll only work on compression, which is that way. You see the arm is getting pushed by the rod, so it will work that way but not that way. So getting to cutting to the chase there, the sensor has to go down on the arm here, and my biggest worry was that the bolt has to do two things. It has to primarily bolt up the arm onto the shaft tight, but not too tight because then you'll muck up the sensor's reading because you're compressing it too much. So it has to be just right, not too tight and not too loose. This is worn out, this one. I slipped off the edge of that pedal there, and this worn out on the bush. And I've already replaced the one on the GSXR 1000 K6, same problem. But these are $170 each. And the right hand one for the right foot peg for the brake is not even listed as far as I could find yesterday. So I really might have to save up for a set of rear sets so that I can renew all this, because getting parts is a problem. I prefer the reverse shift for accelerating. It's really good for the drags. You just click, click, click down. Your ankle actually moves better. The ankle, if I can show it now, ankle actually moves easier going down than trying to lift up. You're much smoother on the bike by just pushing down. I find it much better, especially also between when you're in full revs in 5th gear and you go for the shift into 6th. The last thing you want to do is giving a leg bloody big shove, just another firm click into top gear and the bike keeps nice and stable. Very important. Another thing I found from the ride was the front suspension is too soft. It's and then as soon as I got back I measured it and it's got 40 mil of sag and I've got maximum preload wound on, so I can't go any more, and yet the forks are running at 40 mil sag. The back end, everyone talks about the back end, the rotary damper, all this thing. It is pretty harsh, but I've got it set so it's not pogoing, you know, it's not bouncing. It's a bit on the harsh side, but I've made sure that the preload on the spring is giving me some proper rider sag, where when I got it, there was no sag at all. There was no static sag. You take the bike off the side stand or the race paddock stand and the bike would just sit there fully sprung out, topped out. Now it's got some sag, and then when I sit on it, rider sag, it's got about 35 mil of rider sag, so at least it's going over the bumps, even to the point whereas, look, have a look at this. I see if the camera can show that. The under wheel hugger is hitting up into the frame there, onto the these aftermarket under trays, which I've had no success with these under trays. I've had the same trouble with the Hayabusa, the under tray with the Hayabusa's lowered, the back wheel on the drags will come up and hit the under tray, and you don't want that. You want it just accelerating, not having an external friction brake. So you've got to be very careful with the under trays on the Hayabusa, the Gen 1, and this one is doing the same. Not on the top, but on the edge. It's hitting up there on the inner. So I'm going to have to, I think the guys do another mod where they actually fabricate a new under tray themselves, instead of the fiberglass one which takes up extra room. There's just no room for the two things, the under tray and this wheel hugger. But how do the two bikes compare? I've just ridden them back to back. The TLR is very comfortable, really. It's not that radical, except the knee bend is a little bit short from seat to peg, it feels, and then you have a fairly reasonable stretch with the arms to reach the bars. But it's all, you know, you sit in the bike. That's what I'm probably trying to say. You really sit in the bike and it's fairly comfortable. The ZX6R, it is surprising. It's got the full-on seating position on the upper half. You know, the low bars, of course, the low clip-ons to the seat feels quite short, but the seat to peg is quite generous, and so you actually seem to have, I seem to have a less of a knee bend on this than the TLR and the Hayabusas. You remember, every one of the Hayabusas complain about the pegs too high, and they look for drop pegs to make the bikes more comfortable. Well, this is kind of the opposite. It's quite comfortable for the knee bend from seat to peg. And a few other things. I'm running the low screen, the original Kawasaki screen, which is similar to the TLR and the Hayabusas, where they come with a low screen, and I deliberately put this one back on. I do have two others that are higher, but just for running around the road, it's beautiful because the air flow hits me in the chest and actually gives me some assistance in the weight on my wrists. Whereas, and you can't tuck in on the road to be real, you're not going to be riding around with your chin on the tank on the road. So this works really well for the street because it doesn't direct the airflow into your helmet. And on this one, the TLR and my Hayabusa, the airflow goes straight into the bottom of my helmet and then into the wind noise into the helmet that way. So I think that, you know, you've got to give the Suzuki and Kawasaki and all that, the designers, some credit, because I'm actually finding the stock screen height a good thing. Now I'm talking road. On the racetrack it'd be different. You can get the double bubble, or like the TT guys do. They can tuck in easier. But just running around on the street, it's a good thing. Now if you've never ridden a 600 or you had one a long time ago, it's quite good. It's easy to ride, the power is smooth, it's very progressive, and you know, it just goes as fast as you keep winding on the throttle. It's not like the 1000s or things like that where they've got that much more powerful mid-range punch. This one is just smooth, progressive, linear type of thing. It just keeps winding on and on. Very easy to ride. The TLR, I'm a little bit concerned about the mid-range on this one. It seems to be a little bit flat. It comes on hard higher up, you know, 6, 7, it really starts to wake up. But in the mid-range, around 4 and 5, it seems to be just a little bit quiet. So I'm wondering about the fueling, because it does have more freer flowing exhaust, and the airbox has been modified as well. So if you change the airbox and things like that, you really should check your AFR. But I can't do it at the moment because I've got nothing to tune it with. Woolwich don't do anything for this, for ECU type of flash. So I've dug up a Power Commander 3. I replaced the Hayabusa over there with a PC5. This one came off the Gen 1 Hayabusa, and maybe it can be wired in so I can get some tuning done, because I think it could just want to check it, because they're always wrong when you change the airbox or the exhaust. That's what I've found. It's coming along well, and the ZX6R needs new tyres to make it safe. They don't work in the cold, that's for sure. Cold tyres on a cold road last Sunday morning was a bit of a wake-up call. And it happened to my friend as well on his TLR when he went into the city as well. First roundabout we came to, the bike slid just a little bit, but you know, if you just feel it go, and then you straighten it up before it gets any worse. The S23 Bridgestones on the TLR are fantastic. They're great. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks guys, see ya, bye.